Good afternoon. I'm Jon Wardle, CEO and founder of the Claritas Group. There's an awful lot of optimism around the industry at the moment, and that's optimism around the number of opportunities, profitability, growth, regardless of sector. I think there's a lot of different things that are going on that are driving that opportunity. We've never had such an interventionist government, and they're investing in housing, in health, in education, which is driving that. And obviously post-COVID, post-Brexit, we're definitely seeing the private sector come back to the market as well. I don't think anyone really came back with the true answer of what concerns me about our sector, and that's about our need to collectively work differently. And be more, everyone talks about being more collaborative, but there wasn't a specific answer out there that jumped out at me and said, we really need customers, consultants, contractors, supply chain to be more collaborative. It's the thing that we all talk about in the industry. And it's the thing that, we all talk about the labour gap and labour availability and skills gap and all the rest of it. But actually a lack of collaboration that more importantly drives behaviours across the industry. I expected that to be more prominent. We're in a growth phase. We're still a very people-driven industry. So absolutely, our key investment right now is in the investment of right people, of getting the best people out there in the industry. If I could change that, it would be investment in BIM, in IT. Because I think we're still an industry that generates a huge amount of data, but we don't use that data. I think as an industry, internally and externally, we still carry the scars of numerous recessions. First in, last out, how much job security do you have, etc., etc. So I think we carry those scars. But also, I think I've been around careers teachers, careers fairs, schools, universities, and people get shepherded away from our industry. I'm passionate about our industry. I love our industry, and there is an absolute real challenge about investment and recruitment of talent. But if you want to come into our industry, if you're a school leaver or a university leaver, a non-cognate graduate, and you want to come into our industry, I don't think there's a better place to be financially rewarded. I think there's a great, I'd say work-life balance, but I mean more of that. It's a great social place to be. I've made many of my best friends in this industry, and they're customers, consultants, supply chain, as well as people that I've worked with. So I think it's a great industry from that point of view. Every day is different. You're not sitting in an office churning the same thing. So you're constantly learning new skills. And the talent pool is so small. So if you have an ambition to rise through a company, actually our industry is a great place to look up and think, I want to be there one day. Because still to this day, and I hope this changes, the talent pool is so small, there is more than enough place for everyone to rise up in our organisation. Not everybody, of course, but it's not like going into I will use an accountancy firm where there's a lot of good people, and everyone's striving, not everyone, but lots of people are striving to be partner, and there's only a few partnerships. In our industry, there's high level middle management. The industry is growing. It's a huge contributor to GDP. Actually, now there is a lot of job security. So your ability to move through the rank and file to senior management, I don't think there's any better place to be. The first one I'd mention is a forced change, but one that's been hugely positive and cost effective for us. And that's actually using things like Teams, Zoom, other IT infrastructure for meetings. We are still very much a look, touch and feel industry where middle managers who manage portfolios have to go and sit in front of their people in projects. That was the way before COVID. It's a challenge and an opportunity in how we develop the skills in our people to manage like that, because they haven't done that. You have a contracts manager who's been in the industry 30 years, and all they've ever done is gone and sat and have a coffee with their team and manage that way. you're now having to manage from afar, manage through data. You're having to manage through dashboards and see what's going on in the projects, and that's a whole new skill. There's a big piece there about how we use some of the technology that's in the marketplace to collect the data on projects, to turn it into reports, presentable, so that we can quickly look at it and can be like, we often refer to it as the plane, they're the dials on our plane. We don't need to see the mountain, but we just need to know it's there, kind of thing. So that'll be our next phase of investment. There's a lot more thinking going on at the moment than acting, certainly, but it has made us think about certain things, whether that's COVID and how we operate, or Brexit around our supply chain in onshore, offshore, what the impact of that is from that point of view. It's made us think about things differently. It's forced us to make change, which I do think has been it's been very positive. If you look at how the industry has collaborated throughout COVID, not so much Brexit, but how the industry has collaborated through COVID, again, customers, consultants, contractors, supply chain, there's a lot of positives to be there, and there's a lot of behaviours that we need to keep hold of. Now, I think inflation is something that we're all worried about. Again, signing up to a fixed price contract, what's inflation going to do around some of the key commodities? Metal, steel, as you say, cement, all of those kind of things. How do you manage that inflation risk? What do you do about it? It's very challenging. Again, that suicide bidding of, no, we'll price it, it's a 2-year project, but it's all priced at today's money. How does that work when you know that the inflation is going to happen? So, yeah, I do think the inflationary pressures will be coming soon. One of the questions is also about what would I say to any business leaders within the industry? Resilience. You got to have resilience. This is an industry. It's not linear. It's not never going to change. It changes frequently. It changes at a project level. It changes at an economic level. It changes by a government level, and what governments might take away from a sector that you're in. A government today can be pumping money into education and housing, and you set your business up for that. The next government can go for health and industry, and you're not in that, and you're playing catch up. So you need resilience, and I think the industry having the resilience of balance sheet, resilience of skills for the next 5 years, 10 years, I think is hugely important, and I do think that's a challenge. Go to bed a pessimist, but wake up an optimist, because every single day in our industry is different. So what happens today to kind of get you down and think, why do I do this? Tomorrow is always a different day. And if you've got any spare capacity in your business today, whether that's intellectual capacity, whether that's financial capacity, think about what you want to invest in for the future. Because ours isn't an industry where you need marginal gains to get ahead. Ours is an industry where there is huge opportunities for gains, whether that's efficiency of people, whether that's efficiency of how we build, of how we survey, all the rest of it. So I think, certainly one of the things that we're looking at and saying, what do we have in terms of spare capacity to think about how we can do it more efficiently in the future?